So let's talk about how the Jeep Gladiator is better than most other mid-sized trucks. You know, Jeep catches a lot of flack about quality and reliability, and I think most of the time it's really undeserved. Of course, there have been instances, but I think the Jeep Gladiator is a pretty damn good truck overall. But how is it better than most of the other mid-size options out there? Number one, we got to talk about paint. I hear about paint so much on my other channels, in my Facebook group. Let me tell you, I haven't found any problems, not even anything questionable about the paint on my Jeep Gladiator. It is spot on awesome. And it's so good that you can tell it's better by just looking at it. You don't have to measure it or get out a magnifying glass or anything crazy. It just looks better. It looks thicker. It looks more resilient. It looks better applied than what I've seen on other mid-sized trucks in the past, particularly from what other people report about their trucks. Number two, better seat room, particularly in the rear. There's plenty of room up here in the front, obviously. I mean, you're sitting in the front. It's really not even a question. In the rear is what usually matters. Most mid-sized trucks, I think, steal room for the rest of the truck from the rear. There's plenty of space back there. I wouldn't have any problem taking maybe teenage, kids of normal size. If you have a son or a daughter that's 7 feet tall, well, you probably should be in a full-size truck anyway. But normal height kids or adults can fit easily in the back of the Gladiator, and I really wouldn't have a problem taking them on a long-distance trip. A few hours, it would be done easily, and you wouldn't have any complaining. The other mid-sized trucks out there, there is just no way. Number three, better towing. Now, let me say first off, I'm obviously not a big tower, so I'm taking this from reports and numbers that I see out there on the web, but every report that I come across ranks the Jeep Gladiator either the highest or right there up at the top when it comes to mid-sized trucks. It can handle pretty much anything that you should or might be willing to tow with a mid-sized truck. Now, you're not going to hook a full-size house trailer or something up to the back, but you're not going to do that with any mid-sized truck, or at least you shouldn't. I think I've seen things like that around this area, but that's way over the capacity of a mid-sized truck. The Jeep Gladiator is rated high, it can handle it, and from every account that I've come across anyway, it does a really, really good job. Number four, better visibility. Now, this is really just inherent to the Jeep design, right? I mean, I'm sitting in basically a box, and unless you really screw something up, how are you going to not be able to see out of a box, right? I mean, you've got windows, obviously, all the way around. The A pillars, which is up there, the B pillars, the back pillars, all the pillars are in such a spot that they don't detract from your ability to see out of the truck. I like that because sometimes, when you're on the freeway or maybe you're in heavier traffic, you need to be able to turn your head quick and look just to make sure that you're in the clear, right? Never had any problems like that in the Jeep Gladiator. Very easy to see out of this thing. And I have to say, I am kind of a stickler for that. I've had umpteen cars in my lifetime, and I've actually gotten rid of some in the past because I just couldn't see out of them. And let's face it, you have to be able to see out of the vehicle to be able to drive it safely, right? Next up, number five, connectivity. We have to talk about phone connectivity. Oh my God, I hear about it all the time on the RobMotive channel about how bad connectivity is. Everything seems good. You get all hooked up and connected. It's working good for a day, an hour, and then you lose it. And then it's sporadic after that. I've never had any issues, knock on plastic, with my Jeep Gladiator, right? So Mopar, whatever they're doing it right because they're beating everybody else out rather, when it comes to making sure that your phone, regardless of whether you have Android or Apple, I hear from both. Of course, I have Apple, so that's my own experience. but I've never had any issues. Always spot on, always connects. I can hear well when I have phone calls, when I play music through the radio. It works perfectly. Definitely better than most every other mid-sized truck, at least that I've ever had. Number 6, better aftermarket support. Now, what I'm talking about there, and this is only slight in one brand, I guess. We'll get to that in a minute. But what I'm talking about is the availability rather, of aftermarket parts so you can mod the truck, make it what you want, whether it's just for aesthetics, whether it's functional, mechanical. There's pretty much anything that you can think of out there available for the Jeep Gladiator. And that's nice. I often find that when I think, gee, I wonder if there's an X mod for this, and I go out and look, and there is. I think it's awesome. Now, I mentioned there is one that's really close, and that's, of course, the Tacoma. The Tacoma has a huge aftermarket following as well, and I would say of all the mid-sized trucks out there beyond the Gladiator, the Tacoma is probably the closest. It's almost damn near the same, where if you think about it, you can probably find it out there in the market. And beyond that, my experience with, I would say, 95-98% of the parts that I've bought in the aftermarket for the Gladiator, they're well engineered. They fit. I don't get something that has bolt holes in the wrong places or angles that are wrong or anything like that. Everything is pretty much spot on. So definitely better when it comes to aftermarket parts and mod availability for the Jeep Gladiator. Number 7, better comfort. I don't think there is a more comfortable mid-sized truck out there, at least not that I've experienced so far. The Gladiator is smooth, and we're talking about for a truck, of course. I mean, I realize I'm not riding around in a Cadillac or an Audi or a Lexus, but when comparing it to other similar vehicles or vehicles in the same category, mid-sized trucks, the Jeep Gladiator takes the cake. Nice and comfortable seats, good angles so you can get where you need to be comfortable. You know, I took a Gladiator, and I talk about this all the time because it was so good. But I took a Jeep Gladiator to Colorado from deep South Texas, a 19-hour drive. And we drove almost all of that in one day. And I never had a sore rear end or thighs that were killing me from hanging over the edges of the seat. My back wasn't bothering me from sitting in the seats too long. The seats themselves were nice and cushy, comfortable. Just everything about it. All the ergonomics on the inside is the way, or are the way that they should be. You can reach everything. You're not straining to change the air conditioning or reach the glove box or any of that crazy stuff that, you know, you think really doesn't matter until it does, right? So anyway, those are just 7 areas, I think, where the Jeep Gladiator is actually better than most of all of the mid-size options that you can choose from. Leave a comment. Let me know. I'd be curious to what you think. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.